welcome to TrishRockTV. Interviews with people living on purpose and loving life. Tonight's guest is the incredible Amanda de Warren, psychic medium and Australia's leading animal communicator. Amanda makes psychic connections to both people and animals that have passed over, and is also one of the few people who can also communicate with animals that are alive. It's her amazingly accurate readings of readers' animals in her Animal Whisperer column in the Woman's Day magazine that she's become known and loved for to thousands of readers. She identifies behavioural and health issues and gives advice about how to improve people's relationships with their pets. What makes Amanda's insights all the more amazing is that she does most of her readings over the phone. Distance is no barrier, and she doesn't even need to see a photo of the animal, and actually requests that no prior information is given. Amanda is a fierce animal advocate, and has poachers and hunters in her sights. In her goal, it's her goal in 2020 to take on these lowlifes who commit these atrocities on animals, including endangered species, and to help raise awareness and make a difference. She's also planning a trip to visit the endangered orangutans of Borneo, and she wants to be a voice for all animals.
Absolutely.
Amanda has appeared on numerous media, including Network 10's Trial by Kyle, The Project, Mornings with Kerry Ann Kenley, Today Tonight, A Current Affair, doing live psychic readings of both people and animals. She's featured in numerous magazines and newspaper articles, including a 2-page spread in Queensland's Sunday Mail. She also loves radio and has twice appeared on the airwaves with Jackie O and Kyle, as well as Rove McManus, and is a popular guest on Today FM with Grant Denyer, Ed Cavalier and Ash London. Amanda's fascinating life story is told in her popular autobiography, Amanda de Warren, My Journey Behind Blue Eyes. We're going to talk about this and a lot more. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I just wanted to point out that I've just had to have 2 teeth extracted, but I didn't want to cancel today. And that's what happens when you talk too much. Teeth fall out.
The teeth finally give in.
It's like I've got enough of this, I'm leaving. Excuse my speech, a little bit quite sore this morning, but I'm so glad to be here. Thank you so much for having me, and that awesome introduction. I'm like, oh, she sounds interesting. Need to meet her.
So Amanda, I read in your bio that it all started for you at Australia Zoo.
I've had this gift probably since I was about notably around me about 4 or 5.
Yes.
But working with Steve Irwin for 2 years, you can't help but be influenced by the legend himself.
Yes.
And when I first started working with Steve, it wasn't Australia Zoo, and he was just starting the wildlife. What was it?
Reptile Park.
No. It was the what's that TV show? Sorry. Brain down, moving house, everything. The wildlife
Warrior? Wildlife Warrior?
No. What was the name of his? Crikey!
Oh,
Can't remember.
Yeah, Crikey's good.
Crikey. That's my Bessie Robin in the corner there. The Crocodile Hunter.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Sorry.
Perfect.
So he was actually starting the Crocodile Hunter. He had only just started then.
Yes.
And it was a case of, he taught me a lot. This man is amazing. His knowledge and his love of animals and his passion for the environment. What you saw is what he is.
Yes.
And I'm not going to say he
Yes.
is. And I still feel very much his influence around me these days.
Yes.
Connecting to me and helping me to move forward and opening doors for my journey to be the voice of animals.
Yes.
Travel the world, look after the environment, not just the animals, the whales, the orangutans, Australian animals.
Yeah.
Got to be in on that as well.
Absolutely.
So it's not just overseas. So from now on, it's all go. And I feel Steve around me a lot. But working with him was not just a pleasure, but it was an honour.
Yeah.
Because that man's passion for animals and the environment, and for his wife Terry and his children, and I'm feeling him around now, so we've got him in the room with us, was nothing short of unique. There is no other person on this planet like him.
Yeah, yeah. So it all started there for you, and so let's talk about our pets before we get onto your journey for this year and the big things that you've got coming up. So when you are reading for people and their pets, is it mostly the pets that have passed over that people want to hear from, and you know, do they always come back with us after they pass? Are they always around?
Absolutely. I did a reading for a gentleman whose a German Shepherd had passed 75 years before. He got this German Shepherd when he was 5. It passed away when he was 17. He's 92 now.
Wow.
And the first energy that came through, I said to him, I've got a German Shepherd coming through with your wife. And I said, but she didn't meet this dog. I feel like it was a long time ago. And I said, I feel like Lady. And he goes, oh, and he lost it. He said, that was my first German Shepherd who I absolutely loved and always talked about. Her name was Lady. And
wow.
he just, you know, and another lady, her cat's been gone 62 years. They are still very much a part of our lives.
Yes.
They love us unconditionally, and that love just keeps going on and on and on. And another lady recently, because I do about 10 or 11 readings a day, as you can imagine, she had her cat reincarnate 3 times.
Wow.
She'd had it as a child.
Yes.
When she was about 30, it turned up on her doorstep.
Wow.
And that she knew it was the same cat, but it was about 2 years old. The latter one was when, the third one, when she had the cat a 3rd time, she knew, because she wanted my validation. I said, you've had this cat 3 times. The cat is still here, but it's quite old. It was like 18, 19 years of age, but the cat was still here. I said, that's the same cat that you had back here and back here. So, you know, every reading is different.
Yes.
Whether the animal has passed over, whether the animal is here. I do sick pet readings. If people can't find out what's going on with their animal, they turn to me.
Yes.
If you have, like most of ever had to put an animal down, they are never angry at us. They understand that we are only trying to end their suffering and not their life. So they come back in, and I say to people, oh, you had to put this pet to sleep, and this is why. And I'm saying, they're coming through with just love. I have never once had an animal come through and say, you put me to sleep.
That would be a big question, wouldn't it?
You know what?
Because it's heartbreaking. I've done it a few times now.
So have I.
Heartbreaking.
And it's so painful to have to do that.
Yeah.
Because we feel like we're doing them an injustice, but that is not how they feel.
No.
They go on loving us, they come back, they love us unconditionally.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't want to talk about how I passed or what happened. I want to reflect on my living. This is what I did. This is where we went. This is who I love.
Yeah.
You know, they don't generally they have a little bit of a conversation about how they passed and what happened, but then it's on to, you know, we did this and we did that. And
well, that would be very comforting to the owners, because I know it is a thing that people hold on to, isn't it? That, you know, oh, they'll never forgive me for putting them down.
That is not the case.
And I think it's beautiful that you can bring them those messages so that they have that comfort, and then they can just enjoy the memories.
And that's what it's all about.
Of them. Yeah.
And that's what. I'm just looking at your beautiful dog over there. She's just so happy. I've got my bestie Robin with me, and this little guy here, Rosie, is just like, I just love you, Rob. I just love you.
Yeah, I don't think she's ever stayed on anybody's lap.
She's
that
so
long.
cute. Oh, hasn't she? She's gorgeous.
No.
See, this is the thing. They understand energy. Rob's got a brilliant energy, and she just loves Rob. You can see that she's so happy and really content there. It's like, I like you, Rob. Are you coming back to see me again?
Oh, so for all our viewers, we've got Amanda's best friend over here watching, and Rosie's sitting on her lap, and she's really loving it. We might get a photo later. Yes,
Yeah.
of course. What's the strangest animal communication that you've ever had?
Oh my gosh.
You
there's
must have
been a
had
few.
so many.
Well, two come to mind. There was a guy that had a lot of reptiles in the house, and he kept them. He was actually, when customs seized the animals, he was the one that they would take them to because they had to go through quarantine and things like that. And then he would release them back into the wild. If they couldn't be released, then he would send them to a really good zoo or something like that. Now, these animals came through to him, and there was hundreds of birds, spiders, insects, snakes, lizards, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it looks like Steve Irwin's, reptile park coming through. And he started laughing because I don't have any prior information. And I said, most of them are living, and I'm like, they're saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I said, I feel like they're all in these little tight, because they pack them into these little things, these cruel people. And that's another thing I'm going to deal with.
Yes.
And he said, yes, I know what you're talking. I couldn't quite understand what he was. I just go with the flow, whatever comes through, And then another one, I had a zoo overseas ring me, and they said, we're having a lot of trouble with our elephant. I said, she's not eating. They went, yeah, right, correct. And I said, you need to stop feeding her in the morning in front of everyone that's coming into the park. You will open it up, you put the food in front of her. She doesn't want to eat in front of people, and she wants to eat in the evening. So what they did was they stopped feeding her in the morning. They put her out the back, gave her her food at night, boom, straight away.
Interesting,
She started
isn't it?
eating. Yeah.
I wonder if there's, I know zoos are a little bit different now than they were years ago.
Vastly different,
There's probably a lot of animals that have issues with that because they don't want to be on display.
Yeah.
But I do believe there's a lot of difference now between
There
what
is
they used to,
enormous
how they
amount.
used to look
We're
after them.
understanding the animals now, and a lot of it is to do with keeping them alive, and because a lot of animals are so coming up to extinction.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the Big Cat organisation with Ben, he's doing a great job. Looking after them, and where they are in the wild, he has a band of people that protect them from poachers.
Wow.
So they're free to roam. But they're monitored, they're checked, they're looked after, but they still have that freedom.
And I think
which
that's
is great.
really important.
Ben's doing a great job.
That's what makes them the animals that they are.
It does. As you said, it's not fair to cage them.
No.
But the area that they're in, they stay in that area. Somehow they know not to step out of that area. And there's rhinos there, and they all live together, and they're all safe with no boundaries.
That's wonderful. Really good. And so this is part of your work and the mammoth task that you're taking on globally now, being the voice of all animals. So tell us a little bit about that and all your trips that you've got planned.
Oh gosh.
You've got some big projects.
I have. You know what? I have an amazing team behind me, and we were stalled for a little while to go to Borneo, but I think if I'd gone to Borneo, I would have still been over there because this all came about right in the middle of when I'm supposed to go to Borneo.
Right.
So around Australia, around the world, all different animals from all over the place. Poachers, hunters.
Yes.
I've got a book at home called My Hit List, and every time I see someone that's has actually hunted down an animal for sport and for fun, and there's a lot of them.
It still goes on.
You're on my list.
I'm just surprised that it still goes on, but you still
I will find you.
them. Yes.
I will find you, and I will make your life a living hell. I'm out there to be the voice of the animals. There was Mike Gines, who actually from overseas in America, he actually owns a big electrical company. When people found out what he did, they pulled away.
Yeah.
So I encourage people. It's surprising who does these things.
Yes. Because it's for sport, isn't it?
Well,
just because they're bored.
I challenged him. I said, righto, you killed this baby and this big bull elephant. Come and have a seat with me and let's have a chat, and I'll bring these two elephants through. You sit here, I'll sit here, I'll bring these two elephants through. We'll have a chat to them and see what they have to say to you, Mr. Gines. Another one is Bob Parsons. CEO of GoDaddy. Yeah,
okay.
interesting.
Really
He
interesting.
went over, so that if you're going through GoDaddy, and I'm not afraid to, in fact, take me to court, I don't give a hello, darling. Yeah, a bull elephant.
Wow.
So the money you're paying for GoDaddy, a bull elephant, shot out of just sheer spite. The thing was just, the boy was just standing there. And he came up and just shot it. So another woman goes out and hunts. Yeah, so I've got quite a few on my list.
Yes.
And I will deal with them.
Yeah.
Trust me.
This might be your next book, Amanda's Hit List.
Well, I have a book coming out as well. It's not about it's about animals. It's like 1,000 questions.
Yes.
About people wanting to know all about their animals. And
Yes.
I've just sold my house and I'm actually building an eco house. And now I've sold my house and building another house, an eco house with rescue for cats and dogs and so forth.
Yes.
Now I can really concentrate on what I need to go out there to do. So
Absolutely.
I don't actually have an absolute plan.
No.
I just know I'm going to go out and find these hunters that have hunted. I'm going to be a global voice for animals, their homes, their environment, and so forth, and Australian animals, endangered animals.
And I think if people actually knew how the animals felt about it, that's a different angle, isn't it?
Oh, completely.
Because other people have been out there on this kind of journey saying save the animals, but it's always from the human perspective.
This is from their
This is from
perspective
the
and what
animal.
they want me to do.
And that's going to be so much more
so
powerful.
different. Well, the book I've got coming out, which I'm working on at the moment, is all about animals.
Yes.
This actually is channeled from the animals, and they talk about every single possible thing you would want to know about your animals.
Wow.
That they want you to know. I haven't written this book, they have.
Wow, that's amazing.
I just lost my big boy about 3 months ago.
Yeah.
And I lost my big girl about 4 years ago. Sorry, I've just lost him, and it's been really hard.
Yeah.
Even though I do what I do, he was my rock, and I know he's still around. Sorry, we get very emotional about our animals. We just love them so much,
and that's why people come to you, because you can really empathise with them.
I don't do this for the money.
Yes.
I don't even deal with the money. My staff deal with that.
Yeah.
I just love to help so many people, and that's why I do my readings, because I love to join people together with their animals that they've lost.
Because it is such a heartache when they go.
Oh, it's like losing a child.
Absolutely.
Like my children, my children said to me one day when I had Romy, and he was a rescue at 9 months. Now I've just got little ginger cat Russell. He's a little terror.
For the time being.
For the time being, we love him. Russell. My son turned around and said to me, "You love Romy more than you love me." And I went, "Yeah, about that." He just laughed and gave me a hug. Yeah. So we do, you know, I absolutely have so much empathy for people and their animals when they're sick, you know, when they've passed and so forth. I absolutely get it. So this whole new path, I mean, even though I do a lot of medium work, as you know, I kind of step back from that. People are saying, "Oh, don't stop your medium work."
Yeah.
But I don't know who else is out there to do animal readings the way that I do them.
The way that you do them, that's it.
But I welcome them with open arms. In this industry, I support anybody and everybody. And this kind of work that we do, I have so many medium friends, healer friends, psychic friends, and I love them all. Yes. And this is about being together and not just animal communications, but supporting each other.
Absolutely.
There's no need for negativity or anger or anything like that. We love each other. We're here to support people.
Well, it's a whole new energy now, isn't it? And I've always been for collaboration, even, 10 years ago when people were so into competition.
Oh, no need for it.
There's no need for competition. No. And I think with your medium work, I think that's still going to be really important, because if you're dealing with somebody who just can't quite understand what they've been doing to the animals, maybe you can bring someone in that they will actually understand it from. So I think it'll go hand in hand. Yeah.
I think so too. I don't think I'm going to completely shut down the mediumship work.
No. I don't think you can.
I don't think I can.
It just comes.
Well, you and I started sitting here, and then I just went, oh, blah, 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 blah.
I know.
And,
Amanda started bringing in my dad and my mum, and it just, you know,
Yeah.
I don't think you can stop it.
No, it just happened. So I just, you know, it's funny how sometimes those things happen. I was actually, I was actually in a plane one day, and I was heading down to Melbourne, and I had this lady beside me, and I kept hearing, I knew a man was around, and I kept hearing When the Saints Come Marching In.
Oh.
And he was singing it to me over and over again, like in the Ghost movie. And I tell you what, some funny stuff that's happened. And I turned around and said to her, I've got a man here that's passed away. And I said, I felt like it was heart problems. And she went, oh. And I went, and he keeps singing When the Saints Come Marching In. Well, we're 30,000 feet up, and she's bawling her eyes out. And she goes, that's my husband. She said they made a pact before he passed away. And he said, if I can get a connection to you, I will sing When the Saints Come Marching In, because the Saints were his favourite football team.
Oh, how wonderful.
So he told me how he passed, and he started singing When the Saints Come Marching In. She goes, that was the key word. She said, and she said, I know it's him, because he sang that, and that was his favourite football team. And she said he passed away from a heart problem. So yeah.
That's amazing.
Oh, that's amazing, isn't it? So we've got a couple of questions here from people.
Sure.
We've got Michelle Condos, who said, we lost our beloved blue cattle dog Ajax in September 2019, so just last year. We recently got 2 new puppies, blue cattle. We think Snow could be Ajax reincarnated, and Binder is my husband's childhood dog, Whiskey reincarnated. What do you think about that?
As soon as you started talking about that, I'm feeling 2 or 3 different influences of animals that had passed. And what I was picking up on was, yes, both. It's not always an actual reincarnation, but what happens when they're over there and ready to come back? The dogs that are around that have passed over, I'll tell you how they like this, or I'll tell you how they like that. And that's what I was picking up.
Okay.
Some of their energy from their soul is put into the new pet. So that's how they actually connect.
And is that the familiar feeling?
That's a familiar
Right.
feeling. It's a connection from the one that's passed over, that some of that energy, because the one that's passed over and the one that's ready to come back actually connect. So
perfect.
that's why the one passed over influences the one that's coming through, that's going to be born soon and end up with you. There's that influence there, because a lot of people say to me, oh, we lost this dog such and such, and then this dog does this, or this dog does that, or this cat does this, or the cat does that. And what it is that connection, that influence, and the animal that's passed talks to the new one and says, this is how we do things over there. This is how mum and dad love the connection. And so that's what that is.
How wonderful.
Yeah.
So Michelle, it sounds like you're going to connect with these new puppies.
There's actually 3 over there. So I know she said she's got 2, but I feel like a third one over there ready to talk to another animal. So I feel like there's possibly another rescue coming through. So there'll be a third animal.
Interesting.
If it's a dog that's passed, it's always a dog that connects. If it's a cat, it comes back as a cat. So it doesn't. There's not that interaction. People ask, what if this? You know, can it cross over?
Can my horse come back as
a dog? No, they always. Or can that human come back as a person? There's human and an animal can connect.
Interesting.
But it's always the same soul. So if it's a dog, it's a dog. It's cat, human. So.
Okay, perfect. Oh, that's exciting, Michelle. Look out for a third one. And then we've got Marnie Clark says, our yellow lab Jack left us on my birthday in 2001.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
We still miss him so much. He was a gorgeous guy, so smart and funny. We just want to know he's in a good place.
I felt a male figure, a father figure, pick Jack. Is it Jack?
Jack.
Up?
Yes.
And I felt they'd had him from a puppy. I wasn't feeling like he was really old. I'm feeling probably about 9 or 10. And again, I'm feeling like mobility with him, and I'm feeling a little bit of struggling to walk. And that's as I said, I never assumed. But I'm feeling Jack. They had to make that decision, but I'm feeling a father figure over there that picked them up. So there's always someone over there to pick them up.
Beautiful.
So because when I do the readings of a passed over, I also pick up on who's picked up the animal. So when they go over, they're met by loved ones, family members, and so forth. And I feel Jack was met by a father figure.
Okay.
They're never angry at us, as I said. If we have to make that decision, they don't take the pain over with them.
No.
They leave the physical pain with the physical body, and they come through as what they were before. And I feel like Jack was an absolute character. And I'm feeling like, gotta find a stick, gotta find a stick. Not all animals gotta find a stick, but I'm feeling like, I've just gotta find a stick. And just so much laughing and so much fun around him. Loved everyone in the family, and everybody loved him. I feel also there was partly something to do with his right eye as well before he passed.
Okay.
But they want to reflect on their lives with us, not so much about their passings. It's like,
all the fun with that stick.
That stick. It's like, where's the stick? Where's the stick? Gotta find a stick.
You'll have to let us know, Marnie, when you know what you feel about that. It's maybe, and hopefully that's brought you some peace, knowing that he's fine and he's with somebody that you know.
They always. Excuse me, even I had a reading with a lady the other day, and she has rescued, I think it's 19 racehorses, bless her.
Wow.
And 11 of them have now passed.
Yes.
She's still got several left, and so she either finds them good homes or she has them there. I said to her, your dad's coming through, but I'm seeing racehorses, and I'm feeling, but I didn't, he's saying, no, I didn't bet. And I'm seeing him around the racehorses, and she goes, oh, thank God for that.
He's got all the horses.
She said, I was wondering if my father had all the racehorses. And again, I didn't know the prior information. I said, well, he's got his bringing, I mean, clip clop, his great big racehorses, and they're all following him. And he's going, hi, love, how are you? I've got them all here. It's all good. And she was
funny.
so happy. I said, it's like about 11 or 12 of them. She goes, yeah, it's about 11 or 12. So funny.
Oh,
so
that
funny.
is funny. And of course, if you don't know the backstory, especially like that one in customs, you know, it's like, wow, you've got all these animals around you. That's really weird. But then they confirm what their profession was.
They do.
What's going
They
on.
do.
It makes sense.
And you know, I get the feeling that I know I lost my boy 12 weeks ago.
Yes.
But I also know that he's going to send me a little bit later on, because I do a lot of travel now, especially for the next 2 years. But I feel like he's going to send me a one-eyed, three-legged, half an ear chewed off, one of those dogs. And you know what? I don't care what it looks like. I'm going to love it anyway.
Absolutely.
So, you know, special needs, or somebody doesn't want it. It's been in the pound for like 2 years because it's got half an ear missing, and I don't care what it looks like. It's what's in here.
Absolutely.
You know? And it's always about what's in here. You know, my best friend for 25 years was a Down syndrome man.
Yes.
And you know what?
That
I
was
wouldn't have traded
lovely.
him for the world. I loved him and adored him.
Yeah.
And he was my best friend.
And out of all the humans, they know how to
Oh,
love.
you know what? I have laughed so many times with him. But he had a cleft palate, and he would call me fat bum. Anyway, he rang me up one day and I was working, and he left a message, and he goes, hello, fat bum, it's just me, bring me back. And then he didn't hang up, and his father heard him. He goes, Peter, what did you just say? Well, fat bum. You can't go calling her that, but she's my fat bum.
Oh, so funny.
And I miss that, you know.
such
And
unconditional.
I've got the recording, and it's like, you shouldn't be saying that. Don't call her fat, but she is my fat bum. I always call her fat bum. Oh, Peter, you need to apologise, because he hadn't hung up, and I'd heard this conversation, and I just fell on the floor, just laughing so hard, you know. And I just loved him so much. I really, and I still do, and I always will.
Yes.
You know, so I've had my share of passings, animals and people as well.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
so I love what I do.
You do. You absolutely do. You can tell, but by your energy, and you just
absolutely.
embody what you do. You don't do it because it's something you do. You do it because it's who you are, and that's a big difference.
That is what. It's not about me.
Yes.
It's not about the ego. It's not about the money. I just love to get out there and help.
Yes.
And do the best I can, and that's why I'm going to finish off this book.
Yes.
About the animals. I think we believe it's the only one in the world that actually channels animals with the information coming through for every single question that any person, any pet owner wants.
Wow, that'll be valuable.
And and it's about helping. And then there's another one after that, about people and their passings and so forth. And this. But another thing I'm doing out there is I'm going out to connect to animals that have passed over in serious circumstances. So I'm actually going to 911. I'm going to Ground Zero, and it's called Animal Chatters. So I do this all around the world. We've got a whole beautiful team behind me set, ready to go. It's called Animal Chatters, and what I do is I go around the world. And this Animal Chatters, the first one is 911. It is the first response dog that went into 911 on the day of the bombings. She was the very first animal to go in to where the bombings were. So we've set that up. That's an opportunity for me to talk to her from an animal's point of view. What was it like, darling, when you first came into the building? You know, and talk to them. This is not just helping them, like you said. This is actually talking to them and them having a voice. Watch this space.
That's amazing.
So
and something that nobody's done before.
No.
To actually give us a point of view from the animals about these things.
Well, I have a huge reputation. I've just done a big story, a big magazine, the Sun Herald, did a great big story on me in Herald Life or Sun Life. And I've just been on, the other night I was on with Kiss. We did a live feed with the Kiss guys on radio.
Wonderful.
And I've just got so much media stuff, but I love sharing and I love talking to people, and I'm so enthusiastic about what I'm doing, and I feel like, yes, I'm going to get out there and I'm going to help them, and I feel like that's Steve coming through and going, mate, he was such an influence on me, and his characteristics is still there.
I kind of feel he was channeling a lot of animal stuff too. How would he have known a lot of the things that he did without them saying, that's what I need, Steve?
Well, his dad, Bob, beautiful man, love Bob, still have a connection with Bob. Bob and Lynn, Steve's mum, very enthusiastic about animals, and obviously they owned the Queensland Reptile Park, which was only a very small park. And then when he married Terry had these visions, and bless her for working as she has done a great job too. But the enthusiasm of working with Steve. I remember the first time he wanted me to go in and do a croc demo and feed a saltwater croc. Now saltwater crocs are huge, they're massive. And I had to change my underwear when he told me that I had to dance. I'm like, oh no. He goes, mate, it's a thrill to go in there and just got this great big, and just this, and I'm going, okay, I'll do it.
You couldn't say no to that enthusiasm.
So I went in there, he's talking about, he's doing a talk about, he goes, now, if this young lady losing an arm, call AAA, but I'm sure she's on. Thanks for your vote of confidence. I went in there and Monty came up. He's so used to just, and you're this far away from a saltwater croc's mouth that could just eat you in one, that's entree. So I just stood there and going, and Monty came out, took the chicken out of my hand, and I'm still standing there. Like, Monty just took the chicken and went back, and I'm still standing there, and Steve goes, you can move now.
How funny.
I'm like, okay. And I took a step back and go, I give her a round of applause. And she didn't lose an arm after all. He said, we had bets on it.
Oh, dear.
And just working in the environment with Steve, and I would do environmental talks and take groups around, and then I was doing a great big...
it's really given you that platform for the enthusiasm you've got behind it all, and the passion.
The passion, absolutely. And there was another time I was, Terry and I were doing a snake demo, and I turned around and I for somehow this reticulated python got out from my grip, and she just went smack, 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 and there was just this blood dripping down my arm. And I looked at Terry and she goes, oh dear, another casualty. Call the ambulance. And I managed to grab its head, and I was actually doing the demo myself, and the most amazing times of my life. And then I went on to Dream World for about 5 years. I was looking after the koalas and the koalas and section and the animal section. Then I went to Mount Tamarine Wildlife Sanctuary. They asked me to go there. So we were actually, there's 3 girls running a wildlife sanctuary. And we did everything. We built cages and we brought animals in, proper cages. Because these were unreleasable animals that we had taken in. We built massive, great big cages for them. And I remember it's been so many laughs, and we were coming on to dark and we were trying to paint this cage before Parks and Wildlife came in and gave us the okay for it. Anyway, we were painting it. Anyway, Michelle had the piece of paper up, and Michelle wore glasses, and that was one of the sisters that owned the park at the time. And as she put the paper down, I sprayed the spray. And she had this cry.
And eyes.
And the glasses, it was so funny because she put the paper down as I'm spraying so, you know.
And all of that experience is going to help you when you're running your sanctuary that you're about to build too.
Yeah,
so
I've actually just sold my house, as you know, and we're in the middle of moving, so we're just going to rent for a little while.
Yes.
But I'm buying actually half an acre and an acre.
Beautiful.
And we're going to have an eco house on it, self-sustainable, vegetables, fruit, things like that. But then there's going to be a massive, great cattery for about 20 cats, and it's got aircon. Even though they're caged, they will be coming into the house at times, so I'm going to rotate them and come in for a few days.
Beautiful.
But it's got the most, I'm going to ask them how they want me to build it. Russell will obviously stay in the house with me.
Russell will have a few words
Russell
to say.
will have a few words to say about that. Yeah, Russell, we love Russell. But there's the place itself, you know, if there's injured dogs or something or injured wildlife, that kangaroos or something like that, I've just got to get my blanket license again, which I've had before, my reptile license, which I need to renew. So, you know, there'll be a room where the reptiles that have been injured, you know, need to be rehabbed. They'll be coming in. And then there's the cattery that the older senior cats nobody else wants. You know, if they've got one eye and they're 18 years of age, come and live with me, darling. I'll love you.
It sounds like it's going to be massive, and with all the media that gets behind you, it's really going to be probably fully funded as well, I would say.
I would say so, but my staff will organise that. Like I said, I don't have anything to do with the money. But the media love me.
Absolutely, it's because you're doing such amazing work, and when you go and do all this work overseas, they're going to pick it up too. And I think
they are. They're already onto it. Yeah.
And I think also with the energy of the world right now, everything's shifting. Like this work maybe 10 years ago wouldn't have had as much media as you've got now, and that's because people are really, you know, they don't. I say scoff. That's not really the right word, but you know, all of the psychic stuff and the medium stuff and talking to the animals, you know, it's not as
people
unbelievable as it used to be.
Exactly.
People are more open to it, aren't they? And so they want to know.
People, I have so many fans that I've done readings for, and you know, I don't put negative stuff. I don't allow negative stuff on my Facebook page. And I put positive stuff in my Women's Day magazine. I've been there for 5 years now. And it's all positive stuff. So I don't allow, you know, negative or horrendous stuff to go onto my Facebook page. I will not allow that. It has to be positive stuff. There's another page that people can have a look at, but you have to log into it because I don't want that showing, you know, I'm going to say, okay, I'm after this guy, this is what he did. But that is on a private page, so people don't have to witness any of that. I don't want them to see it.
No.
Unless they want to see it, then that's fine. That's their own choice. But my Facebook page is all positive stuff.
Absolutely. And you're helping people, and you get the validation all the time. Like everything.
I have a huge following. And I just love them all. You know, I've been lucky. to have all my, you get the odd one or two,
Yes.
and you go, you know what, have a nice day,
Yeah.
and I respect your, your opinions.
Yeah.
Have a nice day.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm the same too. I don't want any of that. Yeah, that's it. But yeah, you do amazing work. So,
Thank you.
for people listening, if they want to connect with you, I've got all the links here for them to connect with you on Facebook, also your website.
Okay, yeah.
Is that the best way for them to book in with you and find out what you're doing?
AmandaDewarren.com
Yes.
is my actual website.
Yes.
But I do have a new website called the Animal Whispers.
Perfect.
so-
I'll have the link for that.
So
here
there's
as
actually
well.
two. I'm still got my old one going, but I've got
Yes.
the new Animal Whispers. And
Perfect.
the reason why it's called the Animal Whispers is because the animal whispers to me and tells me. So the animal whispers to tell me stuff.
Yes.
So that's how it
Perfect.
works. Yeah.
Oh, lovely. And for people to follow your journey and all of the things that you're going to be doing overseas, that's usually on Facebook or also
I'm on
your
Facebook.
website?
There are 2 Facebook pages. No, there's 3 now because we've got the Animal Whispers
Oh,
as
perfect.
well.
I'll have all those links there.
And there's my private one I've got
Yeah.
10,000 on my private, all my
Yes.
close friends and family, 10,000 on them. I think there's about 15 or 20 on my business page. So,
Yes.
and that's Amanda DeWarren.
Okay.
And then there's Amanda DeWarren. Amanda Jane DeWarren is my private one. Amanda DeWarren 1 is my business one. And then there's the Animal Whispers.
Oh, perfect. I'll
Yeah,
have all those
so-
links here for
Oh,
you.
look, if you just, Brian looked up my name, he goes, let's look on Google. And there was like about 8 pages on
Yes.
Google. I'm like, wow.
That's what happens when you get out there. Wait till you're ticking off your hit list. So it's been an absolute
I
pleasure.
promise not to shoot anybody, but I can't guarantee that. I mean, you go out and shoot something, and I may hold a rifle. No, I won't. I actually am not a confronting person.
Yeah.
When I speak to people and you've done something wrong, Brian said it's just your energy. It's like I have this very deep. Right, so what did you just do? Okay. And he said, you just know. And he said that energy portrays like, oh, I need to go and run.
Oh.
Because as I said, I don't yell and scream and abuse and threaten. I just have this energy of, I'll confront you.
Yes.
And I will just smash you to the ground, but not in a physical way.
Yeah, I think with you actually speaking to people about how the animals are actually feeling, will get more people on board that don't want all that hunting happening. So it will have a natural kind of demise, I feel.
It's huge.
From the people.
I've got some beautiful PR ladies that have come on board with me. I also have a beautiful media lady, Vicky. She does all my media stuff. I have my personal assistant, Tracy. She is awesome. I have Michelle, who is my warrior tracker girl. She organises all of the trips. I have Jamie, who does all my internet stuff. These people, I have Lynn, and I have Chook. Her name's Marilyn, but we call her Chook. They do the volunteer stuff. Absolute. I haven't left anyone out, but they are my team, and the PR girls actually, as you know, I was on television with Kyle Sandilands, who absolutely loves me. He when I got on, I was actually talking to a dog, and I was on the panel, and Kyle's like, this woman is amazing. She is so genuine. There's a lot of fraudulent people out there, but I know, it's really funny how I busted Kyle on national radio. He was supposed to be on a diet, and I was on national radio with him and Jackie O, and his dog came through and said, oh, thanks for the chicken nuggets, Dad. And I said, you give this dog chicken nuggets every day? He goes, no. And Jackie O was falling off her chair. Apparently, the dog was saying they would sneak through McDonald's drive-through every day, and he would sit in the car park, give the dog chicken nuggets, and he would eat his McDonald's, and then he was full for the day. He was right. And he goes, damn dog. And Jackie's falling off her chair because the whole of Sydney heard this. And he said to me, you're pretty amazing. And I found a bird that a friend of his had lost. So I have the backing of people like Carl Sandilands and people like that. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are not that crazy about Carl, but he's been very good to me.
Yes.
And you know, and when I sat down, he was introducing me as, you know, this woman really does, because he talked about the chicken nuggets, and he said, "Oh, that dog's gone now." And I went, "Oh, chicken nuggets?" And you go, "No, it wasn't the chicken nuggets." You know, and this is his PR team.
Yeah.
These girls want to get, they're national, they're international, and they want to get out there pro bono and help me to get out there, and
Absolutely.
they're highly professional people. So yes,
But this is big work that you want to do in the world.
Yeah.
If you've got big work to do, you need a big team behind you. So
Well,
you've definitely been building up for that, probably even before you even knew you were going to do
I
this.
have. I've got a beautiful
Yeah.
family. I've got my sister Vicky. I've got Brian. I've got my bestie over here, Rob, and people like yourself, and other beautiful friends and people that I have around me. You know, on a personal level, I am also very fortunate.
Yes.
And I'm very excited about it all.
Absolutely.
It's a lot of work. I'm going to be really busy, but
It's a lot of work, but it'll be well worth it. And
yeah.
it's just going to be incredible to see how it all evolves. Like 5 years from now, you won't know.
oh my gosh.
You won't know your life. So thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank
it's
you
been
so
a
much
pleasure.
for having me.
It's been a pleasure. And it's been amazing. And I know that everybody listening would have gotten something out of this, and really gotten to know you. And yeah.
Thank you so much, darling. It was such a pleasure. And thank you for inviting me. You're such a beautiful person, and I absolutely loved talking to you today and connecting to you and doing that little bit of a reading for you before and meeting Rosie. Meeting Rosie.
Thank you so much.
All right, so we're going to go and Rob and I are heading on down to unpacking the new house now.
Oh, perfect. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in.
Thank you so much.
I hope you enjoyed it.
Hug your animals for me.
See you next time on TrishRockTV. Bye.
Bye.